Understanding the genetic origins of populations, often classified as white, requires a deep dive into the multifaceted history of human evolution, migration, and cultural transformation, a narrative that spans tens of thousands of years and crosses the boundaries of continents, climates, and civilizations. Modern genetic research has illuminated that the ancestral roots of Europeans, frequently identified as white in many sociocultural contexts, are the product of complex and layered interactions among ancient hunter-gatherers, early Neolithic farmers from the Near East, and later migrating pastoralist groups from the Eurasian steppe. In the realm of population genetics, these ancestral groups are commonly characterized as Western hunter-gatherers, early European farmers, and ancient North Eurasians. The intricate intermingling of these groups gave rise not only to the phenotypic traits that have come to be associated with whiteness, such as variations in skin, hair, and eye color, but also to the diverse cultural and linguistic identities that evolved over millennia. It is essential to appreciate that the concept of whiteness itself is not solely a biological phenomenon. Rather, it is deeply intertwined with social constructs and historical contexts that have redefined the boundaries of racial classification over time. The genetic evidence underlying these origins is derived from the analysis of both mitochondrial DNA, which traces maternal lineage, and Y chromosome markers, offering insights into paternal ancestry. Advances in ancient DNA technology have enabled researchers to extract genomic material from skeletal remains, revealing that the genetic landscape of modern Europeans is far from static. It is a dynamic mosaic reflecting continuous migrations, admixtures, and natural selection. For example, studies have demonstrated that the influx of Neolithic farmers from the Near East, who introduced agricultural practices to Europe around 8,000 years ago, significantly altered the genetic makeup of indigenous hunter-gatherer populations. This agricultural revolution not only transformed early European subsistence strategies and social organization, but also set the stage for subsequent migratory waves that further diversified the gene pool. Later, during the Bronze Age, groups associated with the Yamnaya culture from the Eurasian steppes contributed substantially to the genetic ancestry of many European populations. Evidence for this influx comes from the proliferation of specific Y chromosome haplogroups and autosomal genetic markers. With this migratory surge often correlated with the spread of Indo-European languages that now form the linguistic backbone of much of Europe and parts of Asia. In addition to these major population movements, the genetic narrative of European ancestry is enriched by evidence of admixture with archaic hominins, such as Neanderthals. Modern non-African populations, including Europeans, carry a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA, a remnant of interbreeding events that occurred shortly after modern humans exited Africa. This genetic legacy has been implicated in various aspects of modern human biology, including immune system function, and even aspects of skin physiology. It is important to note that while these genetic contributions are scientifically significant, they do not define a discrete race in any simplistic manner. The interplay between genetics and the social constructs of race is highly nuanced, with genetic variation in Europe reflecting a continuum rather than a set of isolated, homogeneous groups. Many traits popularly used to delineate whiteness are influenced by multiple genetic loci, each subject to evolutionary pressures such as ultraviolet radiation, dietary changes, and pathogen exposure. Research indicates that variations in skin pigmentation among European populations are partly a response to lower levels of ultraviolet radiation in higher latitudes, a factor that in turn influenced the synthesis of vitamin D. This adaptive process, occurring over thousands of years, underscores the complex relationship between environment and genetics, a relationship far more intricate than the binary categorizations often portrayed in popular discourse. The genetic history of Europe is replete with episodes of both isolation and interconnection. Geographic features such as mountain ranges, rivers, and coastlines have historically served as both conduits and barriers to human movement. These features fostered periods of genetic isolation that allowed unique regional traits to flourish while also facilitating long-distance trade and migration that introduced new genetic variants into local populations. This duality is evident in the rich tapestry of genetic markers that vary gradually across the continent, reflecting patterns of isolation by distance, as well as episodes of rapid migration and demographic upheaval. In recent decades, the field of archaeogenetics has provided unprecedented insights into these processes. Researchers have employed high-throughput sequencing and sophisticated statistical models to reconstruct the demographic history of European populations. Such studies have clarified the timing and scale of ancient migrations and have highlighted the adaptive nature of certain genetic variants that were subject to natural selection. For instance, alleles associated with lactase persistence, the ability to digest lactose into adulthood, are found at high frequencies in many European populations. This genetic adaptation is believed to have co-evolved with the advent of dairy farming. Similarly, genetic variants related to immune system function illustrate how historical exposure to pathogens has shaped the evolutionary trajectory of these populations. The narrative of European genetic origins is not without its complexities and controversies, particularly when it intersects with modern political and social ideologies. It is therefore crucial to approach this subject with both scientific rigor and a commitment to respectful discourse. The term white is not a fixed biological category, but a fluid social construct shaped by historical narratives, power dynamics, and cultural perceptions. Viewed in this light, the genetic story of populations often labeled as white is not one of purity or isolation, but a vibrant chronicle of human diversity, interconnectedness, and resilience. Contemporary research continues to reveal that the genetic boundaries between so-called races are far less defined than previously assumed. Gene flow across populations has occurred continuously throughout human history, reinforcing the idea that the genetic heritage of all human beings is shared. Our differences represent variations on a common theme rather than fundamental separations. The integration of genetic data with archaeological, linguistic, and anthropological evidence has provided a more holistic understanding of European prehistory, one that emphasizes migration, admixture, and adaptation in shaping the human experience. Reflecting on these scientific findings makes it clear that the genetic origins of European populations, and by extension, the construct of whiteness, are best understood as the result of a long and intricate process of human evolution marked by both continuity and change. Environmental pressures, technological innovations, and cultural exchanges have driven the evolution of genetic traits in ways that are both profound and subtle. Modern genomic studies continue to refine our understanding of these processes, offering ever more detailed reconstructions of the past. With each new discovery, researchers are able to trace the footprints of ancient peoples across the landscapes of Europe, uncovering migratory routes, intermarriages, and adaptive strategies that have contributed to the genetic mosaic we observe today. One striking example of human adaptation is the evolution of skin pigmentation. In regions of Europe with reduced sunlight exposure, natural selection appears to have favored lighter skin, which facilitates the synthesis of vitamin D under conditions of lower ultraviolet radiation. This adaptive trait, while beneficial in certain contexts, is only one aspect of a multifactorial evolutionary process that encompasses a wide range of physiological and biochemical adaptations. At the same time, the genetic heritage of European populations is deeply entwined with the broader history of human migrations out of Africa and into Eurasia. The initial expansion of modern humans from Africa followed by the subsequent divergence and spread of distinct lineages, set the stage for the rich genetic diversity that characterizes Europe today. This long journey involved numerous episodes of adaptation and survival in diverse environments, from the arid landscapes of the Near East to the cold, temperate regions of Northern Europe. The advent of agriculture and the domestication of plants and animals marked another pivotal chapter in this genetic saga. Sedentary lifestyles and increased population densities led to new patterns of genetic exchange and selection. As farming technologies spread from the Near East into Europe, they brought not only innovations in food production, but also waves of genetic influences that reshaped local gene pools. Over time, these contributions interwove with the genetic legacy of indigenous hunter-gatherers, creating a dynamic genetic landscape that continues to evolve. In recent years, the proliferation of large-scale genomic studies has provided a more refined picture of this complex history. By analyzing the genomes of contemporary populations alongside ancient DNA samples, researchers have reconstructed migration patterns with unprecedented precision. This integrative approach has helped clarify long-standing debates regarding the origins of certain phenotypic traits and underscore the importance of considering multiple lines of evidence when reconstructing human history. Importantly, the genetic insights gleaned from these studies have broader implications for our understanding of human biology and the ways in which populations adapt to their environments. Genetic variants inherited from ancient populations are not merely relics of the past. They continue to influence contemporary health, physiology, and even behavior. For example, alleles that were advantageous in ancient environments may now interact with modern lifestyles in complex ways, contributing to the prevalence of certain diseases or influencing responses to environmental stressors. At its core, the exploration of the genetic origins of European populations invites us to re-examine our assumptions about identity, ancestry, and the very nature of human diversity. Although the category of white has been employed in various historical and political contexts, the scientific evidence underscores that human populations are not discrete entities, but overlapping continua of genetic variation. This fluidity challenges rigid classifications and invites a more nuanced appreciation of the shared history that unites us all. The study of genetic origins, then, is not merely an academic exercise, but a window into the collective journey of humanity, a journey marked by adaptation, resilience, and an enduring capacity for innovation. The remarkable advances in genetic research over recent decades have transformed our understanding of the past, revealing a story that is as awe-inspiring as it is intricate. From the rugged terrains of prehistoric Europe to the bustling centers of modern civilization, the legacy of ancient migrations and genetic exchanges is woven into the very fabric of our being. As researchers continue to unravel the complexities of this genetic tapestry, we are reminded of the profound interconnectedness that defines the human experience. Each genetic marker and shared mutation stands as a testament to the countless individuals who traversed vast distances, braved formidable challenges, and ultimately contributed to the rich mosaic of modern human diversity. While the study of genetic origins can sometimes be misappropriated to support exclusionary ideologies, it is imperative that we approach this subject with intellectual rigor and ethical responsibility. The evidence clearly indicates that human populations have always been in flux, shaped by forces that transcend modern political and cultural boundaries. Embracing the complexity and nuance of our genetic past can foster a more inclusive and informed dialogue about identity, ancestry, and the future of our global community. Reflecting on the scientific discoveries that have shed light on the genetic origins of populations often labeled as white invites us to consider the broader implications of our shared history. The narrative that emerges is one of continuous transformation, a testament to the adaptive spirit of humanity and the myriad ways in which we have evolved in response to ever-changing environments. It challenges simplistic categorizations and affirms the intrinsic value of both genetic and cultural diversity. As we look toward the future, it becomes incumbent upon us to build on these insights, recognizing that the legacy of our ancestors is not confined to the distant past, but is a living, dynamic force that continues to shape our identities and aspirations, underscores the ongoing relevance of genetic research. The pursuit of knowledge in this field is a journey into the depths of our genetic makeup and an exploration of what it means to be human, a quest marked by curiosity, humility, and an enduring reverence for the complexity of life. In the final analysis, the real genetic origins of European populations, and by extension the construct of whiteness, are emblematic of a broader truth, that the story of humanity is one of constant evolution. It is marked by the interplay of nature, culture, and history, and is continually rewritten with each new discovery and every piece of genetic evidence that challenges our preconceptions. Beneath the superficial distinctions that often divide us lies a common genetic heritage, a heritage that testifies to the enduring resilience and adaptability of the human species. Standing at the intersection of past and present, we are privileged with the opportunity to explore these origins with the rigor, sensitivity, and open-mindedness they deserve. In doing so, we honor the legacy of our ancestors not through exclusion, but by celebrating the diverse and interconnected tapestry that is the human story.